All right, people, what's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? What's up? We back live again on the air. So I just seen a recent video that I'm gonna let y'all hear in the background talking about the exodus of the blue states. So without further ado, I'm gonna play this clip and then I'm gonna chime in. It's about a 2-minute clip. All right, let's listen to it. After the commercial goes through, of course. Yeah, so we're going to hear what they have to say. Here we go.
Well, I feel like you might know the answer, but I'll give it to you anyway. So 2 of the states that are seeing the most folks flee for redder pastures, if you will. Redder pastures are New York and California. So Republican counties across the country have gained 3.7 million more people than they've lost since 2020, with Democrat-led counties losing that same amount in the same time. That's all according to analysis of the U.S. Census data. Now, what's driving this migration, according to Realtor.com, is lower home prices and financially friendly environments. Looking at the Empire State, 19% of Empire State evacuees are looking to Florida for a new home. 9% setting their search sights on Pennsylvania, and 7% looking to North Carolina. Let's look at California. Over 10% of the home shoppers looked to, again, Florida. 7% looking at Texas for their new home, and nearly 7% also checking out Arizona.
You're talking about Florida is getting Californians and New Yorkians the most. Let's listen to this again, and we're gonna go over this. This is crazy.
Losing the most people, and where do they go?
Well, I feel like you might know the answer, but I'll give it to you anyway. So 2 of the states that are seeing the most folks flee for redder pastures, if you will. Redder pastures are New York and California. So Republican counties across the country have gained 3.7 million more people than they've lost since 2020, with Democrat-led counties losing that same amount in the same time. That's all according to analysis of the U.S. Census data. Now, what's driving this migration, according to Realtor.com, is lower home prices and financially friendly environments. Looking at the Empire State, 19% of Empire State evacuees.
Empire State evacuees is New York. Residents moving to red states. Let's listen to this.
Are looking to Florida for a new home. 9% setting their search sites on
Pennsylvania,
and 7% looking to North Carolina. Analysis of the U.S. Census data. Now, what's driving this migration, according to Realtor.com, is lower home prices and financially friendly environments. Looking at the Empire State, 19% of Empire State evacuees are looking to Florida for a new home. 9% setting their search sights on Pennsylvania.
I didn't know Pennsylvania was a red state. Pennsylvania is not a red state. Pennsylvania is a blue state. Pennsylvania is a red state? Somebody tell me if Pennsylvania is a red state. Pennsylvania is not a red state. Yeah, you're allowed to carry in Pennsylvania. Yeah, it's not a red state. Anyway, I'm going to play it again. My fault, y'all. I want y'all to hear it again.
Empire State, 19% of Empire State evacuees are looking to Florida for a new home. 9% setting their search sights on Pennsylvania, and 7% looking to North Carolina.
7% North Carolina. Shout out to Ringo. He's part of that 7% that recently moved to North Carolina. Now you have 9% in the blue, what they consider red state. It's not a red state, Pennsylvania. And 19% in Florida this year. That's a lot. That's a lot. 19% in Florida, 9% in blue state Pennsylvania, and 7% in North Carolina. All right? Let's listen to California. Here we go with California.
Let's look at California. over 10% of the home shoppers looked to, again, Florida.
10% of California residents, 10% Florida. That's 30%. Do you understand how much money is coming into Florida right now? You have, this is the only thing. Don't turn the state blue. Don't turn the state blue. That's all we asking for. The Floridians, we don't want the state to turn blue, okay? Don't like Georgia and Colorado turn blue. Yo, keep your, you left California, you left New York because things are basically not what it used to be. Do not bring that nonsense to Florida. Anyway, 30%, that's a lot of people. All right, let's continue.
7% looking at Texas for their new home.
7% looking for their new home in Texas, okay?
And nearly 7% also checking out Arizona.
Arizona seeing the uptick in Californians, yep. So what does this tell you? What this tell you, right, is that Florida is the #1 economy in the US of A. That's wow. Man, this is crazy.
But election year, this doesn't necessarily mean that politics are moving with all of these folks. TurboTenant, which is a property management software company for landlords, they told Realtor.com that some of these folks are taking advantage of lower prices in red states to get into real estate investing. So they're not necessarily moving there, they're using the homes as rentals.
As I stated before, that a lot of people in the North, they buy homes and townhomes in Florida and Texas, Arizona, and they renting them out to pass split. There's a lot of people using pass split, or they go into Facebook Market or some other markets to rent out their homes, okay? That's how they're making money. Let's go. So now y'all know that.
But we're talking millions of people. Even if a fraction of those millions moving from New York and California have moved to places in 2020 that voted Republican, you can expect 2024 voting to look a little different.
Ain't gonna be different because ain't gonna be a little bit different. The last time I checked the polls, it's still red in Florida, which is good. Anyway, what you're gonna start seeing is what I'm about to play about quit the jobs. I'm gonna play this clip about quit the jobs because a lot of people are quitting their jobs right now. A lot of people are quitting their jobs. You're gonna see an exodus of people leaving their jobs in the North States. All right, so let's get to the clip. You're gonna hear this tax guy. This tax guy, he's very known to do taxes. Now, he has a big following. We're gonna listen to what he has to say about why he quit his job. Let's hear it.
With lettuce?
Wait for the thing to go through, the ad to go through, and then we're gonna hear what he has to say. I can't wait to hear what he has to say because it's been a minute. He got 2 million subscribers. All right, let's hear it.
So I pulled this clip from TikTok, and I think it's a very good summary of quiet quitting. So please take a look.
Quiet quitting is essentially employee disengagement, where workers stop going above and beyond what's asked, stop completing tasks and projects without compensation, and
Did you hear what this lady said on TikTok? Quiet quitting. They got that terminology. I never coined it. I just quiet quitting. I don't even tell them I'm quitting. So this is getting real, y'all. This quiet quitting is getting real. Let's hear it again.
I want to tell you about this new trend at work. It's called quiet quitting.
Wow.
So quiet quitting, it's not about quitting your job. It's about refusing to go above and beyond at work. It's about setting your workplace boundaries. So I pulled this clip from TikTok, and I think it's a very good summary of quiet quitting. So please take a look.
quiet quitting is essentially employee disengagement, where workers workers stop going above and beyond what's asked, stop completing tasks and projects without compensation, and
What?
stop overly participating in workplace hustle culture. The trend has been triggered by widespread employee burnout, the Great Resignation, and new workplace policies following the COVID-19 pandemic.
Now, I want to give you my reaction. She said that this trend has been triggered by employee burnouts, the Great Resignation, and new policies at work after COVID.
Employee burnouts. Ain't that we hearing that a lot lately? Employee burnouts. We hearing a lot of employee burnouts, right? Listen, if they don't get this thing situated, it's gonna get to the point they don't have enough machinery, they don't have enough migrants to do the work as they think they do. It's not gonna listen. Let me say something to you. They don't have enough machinery. They don't have enough migrants to do the work because even they don't want to do the work. After a month or two, they will quit. There's a lot of people quitting or they're not doing the work at these places. I'm telling y'all, man, that's why we having this conversation. This impact the blue states even more so than the red states. Let's go.
First, I don't believe that this is a new trend.
Uh-oh.
A trend, that's something that comes and goes within a short period of time. It could be a few months, it could be a few years. Essentially, quiet quitting is employee disengagement. It's about employees not being motivated, right?
Uh-oh.
So from my perspective, what we're seeing today with quiet quitting, it's nothing new. I'm going to give you some more information about quiet quitting, and then I'm going to share with you my opinions and my experience with quiet quitting.
Here we go.
So I think most people get it. People understand the situation. When you work for a company, the company wants to maximize their profits. This involves squeezing the maximum output from the employees and paying the employees as little as possible.
Uh-oh.
Well, the company, they would call this capitalism. The employee, so from the employee's perspective, they ideally want to receive the maximum amount of pay and they want to do the least amount of work. From the employee's perspective, they call this fair. So I'm just keeping it real. This is how it is it not? So basically, here's the situation. Many companies are trying to milk their employees and they're trying to maximize their profits. Some employees are not okay with this and they're rebelling by quiet quitting. ResumeBuilder.com surveyed 1,000 working Americans in August. 74% of respondents said that they go above and beyond their job description. 21% of respondents said that they are quiet quitting and only doing the bare minimum amount of work. So 21%. So I hope that gives you a sense of how prevalent that this is. 22% of men and 20% of women said that they are quiet quitting. So
20% of men, 20% of women is quiet quitting. If you have 20% of men quiet quitting, that's not good. And it is true that a lot of men is quiet quitting. That is true. They're not putting in the effort. So 20% of quiet quitting of women is very small. You have more men who not caring no more than the women are. Let's continue.
Please comment down below. Let me know what you think about this whole situation, about quiet quitting. What's your opinion? I'm going to give you my opinion in just a minute. However, I want you to know that this is what the employees are saying. These are what the quiet quitters are saying. They're saying these types of things. They're saying that they don't want to overwork themselves because it could lead to burnouts. Going above and beyond.
And the thing is that's why you're seeing it on social media too, because most people are burning out. It's one thing to express what you're dealing with. It's nobody's caring. Nobody's gonna care about your situation for the most part on the internet. Let's just keep it real. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, we're seeing a lot of burnouts, and that's why a lot of people is leaving not calling the company, not caring. And what's happening is a lot of companies are not seeing, they've seen it now, right? They're seeing it now. What's up, Don Gavito? Don, if you want to come on, I'll put you on my StreamYard, right? I'll send you the link and we could talk on StreamYard if you're not busy. Anyway, so getting back to what I'm saying is, you're going to start seeing a lot more people quiet quitting, a lot of men especially in these blue states. Let's continue to hear what he has to say, though. This is getting interesting.
Work could compromise their mental health. Work-life balance is a priority, and your work should not define you, and you should focus your time and energy on things that you do outside of work. So let me know what you think.
FlexJobs is the #1 job site to.
All right. Yeah, I get you busy, man. I get you busy. Let me know when you're available. We could do another video, part 3.
I was a quiet quitter. Let me tell you my experience, and let me share with you what I found out and what I realized.
Here we go.
So I was working a corporate job at a Fortune 100 company, so I hated that place. I was miserable. The workplace, it was a very toxic environment. It was so bad that a fist fight, it broke out in the office 2 times when I was there. And one time it involved a grandma. So I can't even make this stuff up. So the commute was awful. Management, they treated you like garbage, but you had to force a smile or you had to pretend to be interested in what they were saying.
And see, when you have to force things, that's not good on your plate. And a lot of people are forcing themselves to go to work. A lot of people are forcing themselves with fake smiles, fake hellos, fake highs. Nah, man, some people ain't doing that no more. Let's hear what he has to say again. This is a Gentile saying this. This is a Gentile saying this, okay? Listen again.
When I realized. So I was working a corporate job at a Fortune 100 company, so I hated that place. I was miserable. The workplace, it was a very toxic environment. It was so bad that a fist fight, it broke out in the office 2 times when I was there. And one time it involved a grandma. So I can't even make this stuff up. So the commute was awful. Management, they treated you like garbage, but you had to force a smile or you had to pretend to be interested in what they were saying.
Wow.
Subjective performance reviews, at the end of the day, I just dreaded just going into the office, you know. Now, I put up with this torture because I was young and naive. I thought that if you work hard and you do what's best for the company, then the company, you can rely on them to take care of you, to reward you properly. Well, 1 year goes by, it's time for my performance review. I'm like, hopefully I get a big raise. So they call me in and they say, Brian, you're doing such a good job. You are such an asset to this company. So that's how the conversation starts. I think, well, this conversation is off to a really good start.
Here we go.
This is headed.
Here we go.
And then they tell me, but as you know, we're going through a recession. However, you're such an asset to this company. You're doing so good, so we're going to be generous to you. We're going to give you a 2% raise. Congratulations. Keep up the good work. When I heard that, I was in disbelief. I was in shock. I was like, you guys cannot be serious. So I busted my ass off for the whole year for a lousy 2% raise. Now I thought immediately I would have been better.
You know what 2% is? Do y'all want, Don, what's 2%, Don? Don should know this if he got time to type it in. What's 2%? Let's get it happening. Let's say he's making $50 an hour. He was making $50 in corporate. More likely about $50 an hour. What he was doing. If I'm not, let's just say, I don't know what state he in. Let's go off with 50. 2%, that's like $52 an hour. That's not that much of a difference. They made so much off of you and gave you the reception. And only 2%? Take to the what? Lead to the what? Man, I would have been pissed too.
Off if I was just slacking off, just doing the bare minimum, and I would have been okay with a 1% or a 0% raise. So anyways, from my perspective.
So basically, no matter how hard you work, it's not guaranteed you're gonna get the 10% or the 20% they're supposed to give you. Technically, they're supposed to give you 20%. If you making the company more money, they're supposed to put more money in your pocket. It don't work like that these days. I'm telling y'all, man, it's gonna get crazy. 2025.
My thought process as an employee in that situation was, all this hard work that I did for the company, going above and beyond, just being such a good employee, it didn't pay off. It wasn't worth it to me because it's a 2% raise. Like, give me a break. Anyways, immediately after that happened, I decided to quiet quit. But in my days, we just called it slacking off. So this is what I did. I told myself that I need to get out of here. I need to get out of this job. So I decided that I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to start my own tax practice. But I was recently out of college and I had no money. So I decided that, I tried to get clever. I decided to slack off at work. So I'm going to slack off at work. I'm going to collect a paycheck. And I'm going to start building my tax practice on the side. So I decided to do the bare minimum amount of work, just enough to get by at work and not get fired.
Which some people are doing right now. People are doing that right now.
Get to the office around 8:30 a.m. and people are usually leaving around 5:30 p.m. So that was the norm. So I thought, that doesn't work for me. I'm trying to build a business here. So I rolled into the office typically around 9:30 a.m., a little bit late. I'd leave a little bit early at 4:30 p.m. Now when it was lunchtime, people would take like a 20 or 30 minute lunch break. They would go to lunch around
Listen to this.
I took the full 2 hours. I would take 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. as my lunch break. Now, this is my behavior when I decided to quiet quit. Like, I really didn't care. Like, I stopped caring. There's pros and cons to this, and we're going to get into that.
Here we go.
Here's the thing. I'm not lazy at all. I'm not a lazy person. In fact, I'm a very hardworking person. Like, I was using my lunch breaks to work on emails with my clients or potential clients, and I would be using my lunch breaks and leaving early so that I could meet with new clients or pick up business.
Smart.
Now, I want to tell you this. So this is a little bit of advice, some recommendations, but this is coming from personal experience. As soon as you quiet quit, your boss or your bosses, they're gonna catch on pretty quickly. If you're gonna quiet quit, I would recommend that it be a gradual progression, so gradual process. Like, I didn't jump into 2-hour lunch breaks immediately. Like, I had to work my way up there. You start showing up to work a little bit late, you start leaving a little bit earlier, and then you get a little bit more bold, just a little bit. It's a gradual process, little by little, bolder and bolder as time goes on. Because if you're too bold, just right from the get-go, it might be too much of a shock to management, and then you might be at risk of getting fired immediately. Now, here's what happened to me. After 1 year went by, like, I'm surprised it even dragged out that long. My bosses, they had enough. They told me, Brian, we noticed that you're away from your cue a lot. Now, they warned me. They said that if you get 3 strikes, that you're going to be fired, and this is your first strike. I disagreed because the way I saw it, I was getting my job done. Like, I was providing and doing what they told me to do. I just wasn't going above and beyond. Again, I didn't want to because for what, a 2% raise, it just wasn't worth it to me. So after that first strike, do you know what I decided to change? Absolutely nothing. I was quite good. Okay, so I got my first strike, and a few weeks later, not even a month passes by, just a few weeks later.
Here we go.
My boss tells me, Brian, we need to have another talk. I know what my boss is gonna say. My boss tells me that I'm getting a second strike, and my boss literally tells me that I need to get with the program. So you know what I did? I went to my cubicle, I picked up my personal items, just a handful of things, I went straight to my car, I drove off, I never came back. One of the best decisions of my life. So I don't believe in 2-week notices. I didn't even give a 2-second notice. I just left. Now, I want to say this to all the quiet quitters. This is very important for me to say this to you. And it's also very important that you hear this, because this is kind of, again, from my experience. I cannot promise that you're going to have a happy outcome like I did. Like, I'm very fortunate on how things worked out for me. I just want you to know that I understand your situation. I know how you feel. I've been there. So trust me, believe me, I know.
Now I want to talk about that. That's interesting he say that because he walked away from a high salary, right? And he got his own tax business with clients on YouTube, off YouTube. And, you know, y'all know Clear Value Tax. Y'all know him. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the ladies put me on to him. So he's a Gentile that was, you know, doing a few videos here and there. And he got some clients, you know, tax clients. And then all of a sudden, he got clients on YouTube. So he left. It's not for everybody. However, he's right, man. There's a lot of people doing this right now. Some of you at your workplace, you know certain people ain't doing the work they used to do. They don't care no more. Don't be surprised if you see them leave. Don't be surprised if you see them leave. It might get to the point, this is what I'm gonna say. It might get to the point in the blue states, the amount of people that's leaving New York and California, a lot of people leaving New York and California, they don't have enough people to replace. They don't have enough robots. They don't have enough migrants to do the work because they'll do a party for 2-3 months, send the money right back to their country, and by the time they get to the 4th month, they out. Whether it could be McDonald's, it could be Burger King, it could be delivery, it could be anything. Once they reach their goal, they out of America. So it's gonna be very hard to keep people in the blue states. It's gonna be very, very, very hard now. And they have no one to blame themselves because you're overworking workers with a low pay, you banking off their misery, and a lot of people are taking disability now. Even if they're not on disability. I'm telling y'all, man, it's getting real, man. People are tired of going to these places, especially you going over an hour, 2 hours to get to that place. And you ain't getting your money's worth. Shoot.
So with that being said, and you knowing where I'm coming from, I want to give you some advice. If the economy gets worse, I just want you to realize the ramifications, the realities. If the economy gets worse, you're going to be the first one on the chopping block to get fired. So I don't know how important that is to you.
Did you hear what he just said? If things get worse for them, not for you, if things get worse for them, you're going to be the first one in the chopping block.
Or not. I mean, to me, that wasn't important, but maybe to you it would be, it will be. So I'm just warning you how it is. And here's another thing. If you're quiet quitting, you're not going to be the first pick to get promoted. I think you're clearly aware of that. It's going to be difficult for you to climb up the corporate ladder if that's something you're interested in. If you don't get promoted, then you're not going to get compensated as much as you could or as much as you'd like, you know, in comparison to if you were hustling at work. But that will go against the whole quiet quitting trend, right? So I just want you to have fair warning of the consequences of quiet quitting, and these are the trade-offs. These are the realities. On top of everything I just said, I want to tell you this because this is not something that you're going to read about, and nobody's going to tell you this. I'm telling you this out of personal experience. On top of everything I just said, you're going to experience some additional stress and anxiety, like, oh man, I wonder how upset my bosses are at me today because you're quiet quitting. Or will today be the day that I get fired? Because if you think about it, if you're busting your butt off at work, you know, you're working hard, I know that's tiring, but at least you don't have the constant fear or the threats of getting fired. So if you find yourself in that position, lack of job security, that can be very stressful. That's something that you should be aware of. So that's fair warning if you decide to quiet quit. All I'm saying is, if you're going to try quiet quitting, if you're going through it right now, just understand the consequences. And I'm telling you that I don't think that quiet quitting is a good long-term solution. If you're going to be working, whether it's for someone else or if you're going to be self-employed, you're going to want to be engaged and interested in whatever it is that you're doing. Like, I think that's very important for your mental health and for your well-being, just generally. Now, I'm going to end with this.
I'm going to say this, right? What's happening, excuse me, even on YouTube, right? Even on YouTube. I'm to the point, man, whatever I'm supposed to get, I get on YouTube, right? Now, some people want to be forced to support, right? Want to be forced to watch you. I ain't got to do that. If you're going to watch, you're going to watch. If you're going to support, you're going to support. If you don't, you don't, right? Because I'm looking at this thing right now. If you ask me, give or take, I'll take what I got going on right now than to be in some crazy environment, making 6 figures, and dealing with these crazy, stressed out people. If you ask me right now, if Don Cordito was sitting right across 50 feet from me, and Don and I had the conversation face to face, and I'm using you as an example, Don Cordito, and you say, Rollo, would you rather deal with what you got going on now, or would you take the 6-figure salary and deal with the stress? I'm telling you right now, I'll deal with what's going on right now. You know why? Because I don't want to deal with nobody's stress. I shouldn't have to go to a 6-figure place and be stressed out. I shouldn't have to go to any place and deal with stress. That should not happen. That should not happen. I didn't have no stress in Florida. I did not have no stress in Florida. It was just situational situations. I didn't have no stress. I had doubt because I know Florida, you cannot miss payments, you cannot make no mistakes because they are quick to, put you in the street. They don't want to hear about you don't have bills on time. They're not trying to hear that. So that's the only thing. Outside of that, y'all see my videos. Do I look stressed out? I could be on my phone. I'm by the beach. I'm talking to people. I'm making connection deals. You think I want to be in some cubicle box? Making 100,000 a year, dealing with people stress? Take to the what? Lead to the what? Give me any state that you could be yourself, be normal, no state tax, not taking too much money out of my pocket. I could do something with whatever I'm supposed to get, then deal with this Ibarasi. You can't pay me enough to be in this Ibarasi BS. Heck no. Man, you must be out your mind if you think I'm gonna accept this cold BS. Yeah. Hell no. My peace and my sanity means a lot, man, than to go into some place dealing with knuckleheads all freaking day and get a check every week, every 2 weeks, and deal with people's problems. I'm not there to deal with your problems. I'm there to work. The heck is going on?
Perhaps the right answer is to find a new company or find a new field or even start your own business. So I'm going to tell you this. This sounds so cheesy, but it's the truth. Like, life is too short, and you don't want to be spending or wasting 40 hours a week for the majority of your life doing something that you don't want to do or that you're not interested in. You're going to be miserable. So I understand that you have responsibilities, you have financial obligations, but you also have a responsibility to yourself to not be miserable. And if you go through this like emo, quiet quitting phase for an extended period of time, you're going to be miserable. So you need to find a solution, because if nothing changes, then nothing changes. So I use quiet quitting as a stepping stone to realize and to achieve my solution. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for all the support. Please subscribe, and I wish you a very nice day.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Well, hey, I'm glad that I came into that video, because I haven't heard it before. I mean, yeah. What do you think about this, Don? What do you think about this situation? Are you starting to see a lot of people quit where you at? Are you seeing it? Is it a rise of people leaving that six-figure situation, or 40, 50,000 a year, 30,000 a year salary or income? And you get only a portion of the 30,000, of course. What do you guys think about this? The blue state exodus. Is we gonna see more happening? Is it gonna get to the point that they're gonna beg people to come back and do right by the people? Tell me what y'all think, y'all. Tell me what y'all think about this. I know Don the Leader's gonna have some questions for me when we do part 3 real soon. As for me, you can have anybody sit here right across from me and say, Rollo, will you take this six-figure salary and deal with this nonsense? Or would you want to have your peace and sanity, talk your talk, and get what you're supposed to get support-wise? 10 times out of 10, I'm taking the second one. I do not want to deal with no drama and hassle and nonsense when it comes to making money. I'm not saying that you ain't gonna deal with drama and hassle when it comes to making money. What I'm saying is, I ain't dealing with the BS all the time. Y'all already know what it is. This is not BS to me. This is therapy for me and for my listeners. Because a lot of you wake up and you don't want to go to that place. You're tired of it. A lot of you ladies, a lot of you guys, you burned out at work. You burned out. And I know, because I know from experience. Me, I walk away from a high-end salary. Once they did that BS to me, made me wait a month for a check. Well, I look like waiting a month because of your mistake. Let somebody else be a sucker. Because I'm not being desperate. I'm not being desperate to make money. When I get money, I appreciate it. I'm not being desperate. People say, why you not being desperate? Because I ain't stressing myself out, man. Them days of, yeah, man, I ain't getting this, I ain't getting that. It is what it is, man. That's how I look at it. When I'm supposed to get it, I'm supposed to get it. When I don't get it, I'll figure out other ways to get it. The right way. And it is what it is. I'm gonna get on out of here. Ain't nobody else saying anything in the chat. Pretty much everybody's in the clouds viewing on this specific topic. I'm gonna get ready to watch Selena. I'm gonna have me some fun right now. She's on right. Let me see. They on right now. How her brainwaves. Shoot, I'm going over there, man. Go to the other sector of YouTube. For real, man. All right, to Don. Yep. I see y'all in the building, man. Whoever's viewing in the chat, in the clouds, thank you for thumbsing up the video. I'm going to get on out of here. Watch the replay. I'll talk with y'all soon. Peace.